to Simon Street Cemetery, this beautiful Auckland Heritage Park in the centre of Auckland. What if you were looking for somebody who was buried here? What are the resources and the steps to go through that Council can help you with?
Morning.
Hi. Morning.
How can we help you today?
I'm looking for some family. I was wondering if you could help me.
Great, yep. Take a seat and let's see what we have got. So, what are you specifically looking for?
I'm looking for my great-grandmother.
Okay.
And she looks as if she was buried up in Simon Street.
Oh, excellent.
I've got the death certificate, which I managed to get off Birth, Deaths and Marriages.
Fantastic.
And so like a registration of the death, would that be a hand?
That was super helpful. If you got that,
managed?
that would be
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, generally we look for at least 2 or 3 types of evidence to confirm a date. Because people, especially back then, if the person had died, they'd ask their friend when they were born, and they may or may not remember.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
All the
But,
relatives,
yes.
so yeah. And I think that the other thing is starting with birth, deaths and marriages. That's a good starting point. And then I think that what we would be doing is looking either in Archives New Zealand, or we would look somewhere else to see what other information we can gather around this person to confirm this is the person that we want.
Okay, no, that'd be great.
Who knows? There might be another Emily Mary Chapman that is not your relative. So what I'm going to show you is just how to have a look to use our databases to try and find where your relative might be located. You can do this at home, by the way. You don't have to be in the library to do this. First start is the website, a source of all great things, the Auckland Council Library website. We go over to our Heritage and Research tab, and we go to our Kura Heritage Collections online. This is where we store all our heritage information, and you'll see that there's a lovely tile down here called Cemetery Records. Okay, so we're going to click on that. Later on you can go back and look at the Simon Street Cemetery map by itself, but for this we're just going to put in Emily's name. So you can see we've got a number of different results here, so let's have a look. All right, there's an Emily Chapman there, 1875, but what's it say on the death certificate?
1877.
1877. Date last seen alive by certifying doctor. That's quite exciting. All right, so what do we got? Oh, yep, there we go. There's an 1877. And the good news is also got some information about her husband. And there it is, Simon Street Cemetery. And it says the map of the Anglican graves has 2 Chapmans at R8 and R9. So there we are, there's a plot number, and it's in block C285. Okay. So we might go back to the maps and just see if we can locate those blocks.
That would be great.
Yeah. So from here you can see that there's a lot of text from various databases which has helped us, but the other thing that really helps us is there's a link directly to the map here of the Simon Street Cemetery. I really recommend reading this first. This is the overview of what happened at the Simon Street Cemetery in terms of records. So this may give you some clues. So read that first. But the actual map here we want is this one, because we decided Anglican. It's by Percy Holt. And you can see here that you can download these maps. So from home, you can do this from home. So let's have a look at this first one. You see there's the C section. Okay, let's try and find that.
Fantastic.
Oh look, there we are.
It's fantastic you guys have got these records.
It is. And really great that they're digitised. It should be pointing out that we don't have everything digitised. We do actually still have some physical copies. So this is the close-up one that I printed off for you. So the numbers of the plots I believe were 7 and 8. So I'm hoping that that's might give you a guide. But actually the thing is there's the Friends of the Simon Street Cemetery. They have their own group and they have a dedicated researcher. So I'd really recommend that you go and make contact with them. I can give you a contact. They may be able to do a whole lot more research specifically on both the location and maybe the history of that gravestone.
I started researching the cemetery back in 2000 just as a voluntary thing, and then I became involved with the council, and then I can do research for people that are actually looking for a stone that may have disappeared in the last 25 years.
Okay.
So Gary, if somebody else was looking for their family and they thought they were buried in here and wanted your help, how would they go about that?
The best plan is for them to join the Friends of Simon Street Cemetery, and any queries that come in to the Friends, then I do the background research.
So good news, we've managed to find the 1995 pictures of the headstone, and in fact, even better than that, there's a transcription of what was actually said on the headstone before it was cracked. So that's pretty great. I can see you've got the 2015 there, so that's the updated photo. So those two things should really help you in locating the grave when you go down. But before you go also, I wanted to remind you to just go back here to our Heritage and Research tab and go to Research Guides. And you could actually probably look at two here. One is the Family History Research Guide. So that just gives you a step by step and is going to allow you to tick off things. Have you located the birth parents? Have you checked the immigration of how they got to New Zealand? What other resources are there available? If you get stuck, there's this Ask an Expert tab as well. So this allows you to contact us and get a research librarian to spend just a dedicated half hour dealing with your brick wall. But I really recommend that you either check that out from home or download it, and then the only other one would be the Local History Research Guide, which also might have some tips, and then a list of online resources that you can do from home. So I really recommend having a look at that page when you get home.
Okay, I think I'll do that. Thanks for that.
So whether you're somebody who's just visited and you're interested in the history of the people buried here, or you're researching a family member that was in one of these plots, then go to Auckland Council website for all the links and information about your next steps.